Hello again from the two Helpful Hairdressers. I'm Harry 1
and I'm Harry 2. And today we'd just like to say thank you very much for all the wonderful emails we've had with the questions about your colour challenges. And we've had so many from so many of you that are pretty much the same that we wanted to cover today, because we figure this is probably one of the biggest challenges. So what we're about today is answering the question on I coloured my hair, it went too dark. And so I went and bought a lighter colour to lighten it out, and that also went darker. So we want to show you the reasons why that happened today. And Harry 1, would you like to point up at this side over here? And we're going to recap on what we did in our previous videos for you. Just a little bit of information to help you out.
Because you remember we said the importance about gaining the knowledge, ascertaining your true base colour, so you can select your right one. So here we are here. Remember, we talked about that, and then we talked about what the underlying pigment would be if you're lightening. And then over here, Harry 2, we have the different reflex we talked about in video 1 and 2. So today we're going to show you, surprise, surprise, what happens when you put two colours on top of each other. So
what happens is when you put colour on colour, because you've already taken out your natural hair colour, your hair is now full of artificial colour pigments, which blow up a little bit like tiny balloons inside your hair shaft. So when you put on another colour, it can't lighten those little balloons of colour, it just adds more colour inside. So the appearance appears darker, even though you've used a lighter colour. And we want to just show you on a mannequin head today, the difference of what would happen by using some permanent colour on a real hair mannequin. Yeah.
And Harry 2, what we're doing is we're only going to do some quarter panels on our lovely model today. She's a great model because she doesn't answer back, and she's not going to complain when we pull her hair. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the front panel with a 7 base fashion colour, which means a gold.
And that's your side, stay on.
That's my side. And Harry 2 is going to mix some base colour with the fashion colour.
One we prepared earlier.
To show, yes. So you can see the difference in the amount of coverage that you're going to get adding some base in. But you don't have to. Most of them will give you a reasonably good coverage, but it says quite plainly on the box, your grey hair will appear lighter. That's because it's a translucent. So if you want full coverage, you're going to have to do what Harry 2 is doing and adding in some base. But we're going to cook them both and show you the results when we're finished and just compare the two. Right, Harry 2, let's get cracking.
Yes, so I'm mixing up a 7-0, which is a base shade.
I'm sorry, I have to cross between you.
With the 7GB, which is like a gold beige, yeah? Is that gold blonde? Yes.
Yes.
So class as a fashion shade. Now also what I want to just mention here is on the box, you'll notice that most of the colours it says, even if you have virgin hair, meaning no colour in your hair whatsoever previously, that you should apply to the roots first and then down to the mid-lengths and ends.
Which is exactly what I'm doing on this one.
Which is slightly incorrect because you have a lot of warmth in your scalp, and what will happen is your scalp will cause the fashion shade to go brighter than the mid-lengths and ends, especially, you know, like putting it on for a while first. So what you should do is, previously I've mentioned on a video that if you have virgin hair, meaning no colour previously whatsoever in any of your hair, then you should actually apply to the mid-lengths and ends first. If you have colour in hair, then you can apply it to your new regrowth first. But you apply it to the mid-lengths and ends, which is not what Harry 1 is doing, and then you would go back, you leave a couple of centimetres in the root area, and you go back and apply that last. That'll be tricky on yourself, but yes, it is possible. Okay, so I'm now going to apply the 7O and the 7GB all the way through on my side. You've been quite...
I'm doing mine.
I'm
sorry, on my side.
And being quite neat for a change, Harry.
I am. I've got this wonderful bottle, but I do have to criticise the gloves.
Yes.
I think you should spoil yourself and go to the pharmacy, the supermarket or whatever and you can get really
Nice tight ones.
better fitting gloves. But hey, if this is your first shot at it, just follow the instructions.
Here's what you've got.
Yeah, and of course, Dolly here, her roots aren't going to go warmer, even though we're using a fashion shade, because she's not alive, so there's no warmth coming through from the scalp.
No, she's pretty cold.
Funny thing about that, yes.
Now also, because you don't want to be watching us apply all of this very quickly, we will fast forward this one.
Hi everyone, and we're back. We've had time lapse and we processed and we shampooed off Dolly. We put our conditioner on, and you can see that we've reparted her, and we're going to compare both sides. So we've used a Clairol Nice and Easy 7CB, and on
Which is
the
a champagne blonde.
champagne blonde, and on the other side, Harry too has done the 7GB with actually a bit more base, some half base, to get some coverage. Now, if you can see on this side that I've done, we've processed her, and the amount of grey coverage is not fabulous, really. There's still quite a lot.
Hang on a minute, everyone. I'm just going to do a little bit of a zoom here so that people can see it a little bit easier. Just bring that up again.
There's still quite a lot of lighter colour showing through there, which means that the grey hair has been coloured but not covered. But it is a fashion colour. And then if we turn to the other side, that Harry too did, and she included in hers some base colour. If you look there, the coverage is superior. For example, you can see there that there's less of a reflect showing through the grey. However, I have to say that they've actually done quite well, Clairol Nice and Easy, on their target shade, because it pretty much matches the box colour. But as Mr. and Mrs. Consumer, or Mrs. mainly, I've decided that, this is really a bit too dark for what I want. So I want a next colour. I want to just lighten it off a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the shop and buy maybe a 9, which is 2 levels lighter after I looked at your form up there. And I'm going to lighten this off a little bit by adding a 9 on it. So Harry 2 and I are now going to mix up a 9 and apply that over the top of this and see what happens.
There we go.
Before we recolour the front, I just wanted to bring up the rear part that's uncoloured and show you how much grey there was in there before we started. And then you can see that in actual fact, both sides have been coloured, but the side with the base has got more coverage than just the fashion reflect.
Yep.
Okay, we're back. I've just finished mixing up and reapplying the 9, which is the 2 shades lighter, in the same Clairol, Nice and Easy, to see if we can lift a couple of levels out of the 7 that was a little bit too dark. And this will be the experiment that shows you what happens with colour on colour. And we'll process now for another 30 minutes as per the instructions, and hopefully it'll come out lighter, which I can tell you it won't.
And we're back, and Harry One's going to explain the second application that she has done on our dolly head.
Okay, well you remember that we put our 7 highlighted colour on, and we came down to which was almost true to shade in here, and we thought,
and I'll just go and zoom in a little bit for you, Harry.
It was actually a little bit darker than we wanted. So at that stage we had gotten to the level that Nice and Easy said we would get to. But we decided it was a little bit too dark, so then we put a 9 on it, which is 2 levels lighter, in the attempt to lift out some of that colour that was too dark. And as we forewarned you, this is exactly what happened. We now have got a darker result than what we started with. If you can see here on the bottom colour, it's now about a half a shade darker than what we started with, even though we put a 9 on it. So that then proves the fact that colour on colour darkens, and you can't put a lighter colour on over the top of one to fix it. However, I must confess, in the early stages, you would have seen me mixing up the colour, and I grabbed the tube and I mixed it with the Oxygenta, and I was just applying it, and Harry too said to me, "What's in that other bottle?" And I suddenly realised that in the salon, in hairdressing, we have colours in tubes and conditioners in sachets. Well, I actually mixed up the conditioner with the developer because I didn't read the label, didn't have my glasses on.
Blind as a Specsavers.
Blind as a bat, should have got a Specsavers, yeah. Oh, jeez, I hope they're seeing this. We might get a kickback. Yeah. And so we had to stop the processing, take it off, and so Bimbo, who should know better, had to mix it up and start all over again. So my lesson to you is, put your glasses on and read the label.
Make sure you read the directions and read the labels on the bottom.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. My apprentice is now telling me that I should have read the label. Oh, yes, I know. So anyway, we're now going to our neck. You can see that, mistake or not, I corrected it. It's still darker than we wanted. So Harry too is now going to tell you what we're going to do for you in the next lesson as far as correcting this mistake. Harry too.
Thanks, Harry one. Okay, so here we have 3 different products that are currently available on the market, on the consumer market, that remove colour. Now, if you're only a shade or 2 darker than you want to be, you don't have to do a full bleaching process. These are called colour removers. There's full directions in here on how to use them. You apply that over your colour, and then they remove some of the colour pigment to make it workable to do a lot of colour. Now, most times you get warm. So what we're going to do next time is road test one of these products for you, so you can see what the effects will be. And we will also do a toning, because no doubt we'll probably end up with a bit of warmth, I'd say.
So before we go here, Richie, may I point out too that even though we used this 9, there is nothing to say that this product did not do what it was meant to do. Because had we used it in the correct application on a normal head, instead of putting it over the top of a darker colour, so it was really unfair, because that's not a negative result for this product. I'm just saying that putting it over the top of the already darker colour, it wasn't going to work anyway. So we didn't use it in the correct way, but it's the way that you guys might have used it, trying to think, I'm going to lift out some colour.
Correct. So don't forget, please send us your questions. Also, you can put them under our YouTube video so others can see the same question, and they may even want to add to that with their own challenges they've been having. Or if you want to talk to us privately, email us at twohelpfulhairdressers@gmail.com.
And I promise next time, not only will I wear my glasses, I'll read the damn instructions.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!